Hello. I can't tell you what a great pleasure it is to be here today. As you all know, I am so optimistic about our future following our decision to leave the EU and the chance we now have to plot a new course for ourselves in the world. And I'm particularly proud to be here as part of Theresa May's first cabinet and part of a government that is building a country that works for everyone. As Environment Secretary, I feel I have a key role to play, not just in seizing the opportunities that await us outside the EU, but also in making sure we are the first generation to leave our environment in a better state than we found it. This is a job I'm passionate about. I don't think anything can be more important than the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the water we rely on. In contrast to what Labour's up to, we're getting on with the job, putting the country first. Now, I don't know about you, but it seemed to me their leadership election dragged on far too long. If only they'd come to me for advice on how to keep it short. Unlike Labour, we know that the cost of division is too great. Unity and sound government are the driving forces behind everything we Conservatives do, both at home and abroad. And it's one of the key reasons I was drawn to this party as a teenager. And the Conservatives have always been the party of the environment. It's at the heart of our political philosophy. It was a Conservative government that created one of the first environment departments in the world. A Conservative government that led global efforts on tackling the hole in the ozone layer, and that was amongst the first to make the case for action on climate change. And it was a Conservative government that established our national forest, regenerating thousands of acres of industrial land in the Midlands. And today, we're continuing to lead from the front with a superb team at DEFRA. We have George Eustace, our excellent Food and Farming Minister, who's a real champion of our world-class farming and fishing industries. Therese Coffey, our Environment and Rural Life Opportunities Minister, who's taking forward our highly ambitious plans for the environment. John Gardner, our Minister for Rural Affairs and Biosecurity, who's working hard to keep our country safe from animal and plant disease. And we're supported in Parliament by our excellent colleagues, Cheryl Murray, Simon Hoare, Mark Spencer, and Carlin Chisholm. Now, I know from my own constituency of South Northamptonshire that the British countryside is some of the most beautiful in the world. Our stunning landscapes are famous right across the globe. They've inspired paintings, poems, and pop songs. They attract millions of visitors, underpinning a rural tourism industry that is worth more than £30 billion a year. I hear that tourists are even buying bottled English countryside air for up to £80 a go. But that doesn't tell the whole story by any means. The English countryside is also home to 1 in 5 people and over 500,000 businesses. We want to make the most of this vast economic potential, as well as making sure there is a great quality of life on offer to those who live in rural areas. I want people living in our market towns and villages to have the same life opportunities as those who live in our cities. So if you are a local school leaver looking for an apprenticeship, if you are a single working mother seeking access to free childcare, or if you're an elderly couple needing local transport, our plan aims to keep our villages thriving and growing. And it's great to be working closely with Karen and her team on connecting up the countryside. We're both determined to improve mobile phone coverage and to roll out superfast broadband. I know so well how frustrating it is to search the house just for a single bar of signal when you're trying to send a text. Or worse still, if you can't get onto your Pokemon Go account. Building resilience is key to the success of the rural economy, and nowhere more so than in protecting our communities from the impacts of increasingly extreme weather. None of us will forget the harrowing images of last winter's floods. And as I saw for myself last week in York and Leeds, the devastation caused to communities. The maintenance and improvement of flood defences across the whole country is crucial. And that's why we're spending a record £2.5 billion on 1,500 schemes which will better protect 300,000 homes. We'll also be investing £1 billion in flood maintenance over the course of this Parliament. And learning the lessons of last winter, we're quadrupling the amount of temporary flood barriers at our disposal and making our critical infrastructure much more resilient. We want a rural economy that works for everyone. So wherever you come from, wherever you live, you can play a part in our nation's success. Now, food and farming has helped shape some of our finest landscapes. And with 3/4 of our country being farmed, it has a key environmental role to play. It's also of huge economic importance, generating over £100 billion a year and employing 1 in 8 of us. It is, in fact, our biggest manufacturing sector, bigger than the car and aerospace industries combined. The great British brand is stronger than ever and known throughout the world for its quality, innovation, and tradition. Our farmers are world leaders in animal welfare, food safety, and food traceability, something we should all be proud of. And our fishermen brave the seas in all weathers to land the finest fish. Theirs is an industry that is very dear to all our hearts. So whether it's English chocolate, Scotch whisky, Welsh lamb, or Northern Irish beef, people everywhere want to buy our products. Last year, we exported more than £18 billion worth of food and drink. And in the first half of this year, exports are up by 6% and growing strongly. And I can tell you with a particular satisfaction that only last month, the French voted British lamb their product of the year. Just one small example of how international trade is at the heart of our economy. And thanks to that momentous day in June, there is no doubt we now have a superb opportunity to establish new trading relationships right across the globe. It's a chance to reassert ourselves as the great outward-looking trading nation we've always been, the great nation of exporters, the great nation of Britain. I want every person in every corner of the globe to know that we're open for business and ready to trade. At the beginning of this year, we launched our Great British Food Unit to promote our food and drink worldwide. We're selling coffee to Brazil, sparkling wine to France, and naan bread to India. And now, under the leadership of Liam, we have a department for international trade to further develop our trade and export opportunities. So in the coming weeks and months, ministers from both our departments will be crossing the globe, flying the flag, and banging the drum for great British food and drink. And to take advantage of this growing demand, we're working with industry to treble the number of apprenticeships in food and farming, helping young people into this high-tech sector. A sector that leads the world in innovation, producing more new products a year than France and Germany combined. We're also investing in science and technology to cement our status as a global research hub, helping to boost our farmers' productivity and sharpen our competitive edge. Our ambition for the industry will be reflected in our 25-year plan for food and farming, setting out how we can grow more, buy more, and sell more British food. And where there are challenges, we're determined to address these, working with the farming industry to boost its resilience to low prices, to market volatility, and to animal and plant disease. Unlike Labour, we won't walk away from the battle against bovine TB. And as we prepare to leave the EU, it's crucial that we provide our farmers with certainty and continuity. So it's really important that we've been able to confirm the same level of agricultural support until 2020, and that we'll honour all environmental agreements signed before the autumn statement for their lifetime, even if they run beyond our departure from the EU. Our farmers, our fishermen, and our food producers have a proud heritage, and I'm convinced that outside the EU, they have an even brighter future. Now, those with good memories amongst us will remember Mrs. Thatcher's speech to party conference nearly 30 years ago. In it, she said, "No generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease." Well, I couldn't agree more. Today, we continue to lead on the environment, committing to being the first generation to leave it in a better state than we found it. Connecting people with nature and developing a long-term plan for the environment are central to our ambition. Many are lucky that their children can just step outside to enjoy the outdoors, but fortune or luck should have nothing to do with it. It's pretty shocking that in the past year, 1 in 9 children hasn't visited a single green space. Yet we know 2/3 of people live within 30 minutes of a national park or an area of outstanding natural beauty. Our plans set out how we want to engage children at every stage of their education, introducing them to the wonder of the great outdoors. And as part of our manifesto commitment to plant 11 million trees by 2020, We're working with the Woodland Trust to get more trees into school grounds. And we're also making great progress on the English Coastal Path, a 3,000-mile footpath extending around the entire English coastline, opening up our countryside to all. I want everyone, whatever their background, wherever they live, to have access to a clean and healthy environment. By tackling problems of air quality and cleaning up our rivers and beaches, we can have an environment that works for everyone. And as well as connecting people with nature, we're taking action on the environment as a whole. Our national pollinator strategy will help support our bees and pollinators, who are crucial to our environment and to our food. The 5p charge on plastic bags will see 6 billion fewer bags in circulation this year, reducing the litter on our streets and the amount of plastic in our rivers and seas. And in the coming weeks, I'll be taking steps to ban the use of microbeads in cosmetics and personal care products. I'm truly excited that our departure from the EU means we can develop policies that are tailored to our most precious habitats and wildlife, not a one-size-fits-all approach for 28 member states. And it's this opportunity we'll be seizing as we work on our ambitious 25-year plan for the environment, using nature's own building blocks of water catchments and landscapes to benefit our plants and animals. And globally, I want to see us playing an even greater leadership role. Last year, as Energy Minister, I was so proud to see the UK taking such a central role in the Paris Climate Change Agreement. And it was great to hear the Prime Minister say that we'll be putting that agreement into law this year. Two weeks ago, I announced our intention to ban the trade in modern-day ivory. This will make the UK's rules some of the toughest in the world and help to ensure that the majestic elephant is around for centuries to come and not consigned to the museum or to the history books. And we're doubling the size of the Blue Belt around our overseas territories, creating a protected area 4 times the size of India, and safeguarding the incredible seas and wildlife of islands like Pitcairn and Ascension. This is just the start of our ambition. So, there is of course much more to do, but I'm determined that this government will continue to champion our countryside and our environment. I truly believe our best days lie ahead of us. And that's why we're putting in place the policies to deliver a rural economy that works for everyone, an environment that works for everyone, and a country that works for everyone. Thank you.